Hello and a warm welcome to Advanced Audit and Assurance, your path to AAA excellence. If you're gearing up for the AAA exam previously recognized as the P7 exam, you're at the right place. In this video, we will walk through the past exam question. Get ready, we are not just studying the past exam question, we are unlocking the secrets to decoding the scenarios, finding numerous points we can make in the exam to gain marks easily, masterfully drafting answers up to the examiner standards, and skyrocketing your chances of success in the AAA exam. Stay tuned for game changing insights that will transform your approach and elevate your ACCA journey. Let's go ahead. In this guide, we will be attempting September 2020 question number 2 part B. This is in continuation of the part A which we just saw in the previous video. Now in this case, let's read the question first. Just read the requirement first. Evaluate the matters which should be considered before Welford and Company accept the audit of the Broadway Group. We have to evaluate the matters which should be considered before acceptance of the audit of the Broadway Group. Right? Now let's come to the question. You have also been asked to consider the acceptance of a potential client, right? We have a potential new client, the Broadway Group. The group, Welford and Company, has recently been approached by the audit committee of the group to become its audit provider. Okay, it's a group. Parent company of the group, Broadway Company, is a listed company and the group has a total of 14 subsidiaries, 10 of which are foreign subsidiaries. The group is a food processor and each of its foreign subsidiaries provides a particular ingredient used in the group's main processing plant, which is based in this country. So you see this, how big this group is. See, the parent company of the group, Broadway Company, is a listed company. It's a listed company means it has some rules and regulations to follow, a corporate code of governance. And the group has a total of 14 subsidiaries, 10 of which are foreign subsidiaries. 10 of which are foreign subsidiaries. So this means that there is a huge involvement of exchange rate movement, the exchange rate, and it's going to be a complex audit, including the foreign subsidiaries, because 10 subsidiaries is a huge figure. The group is a food processor and each of its foreign subsidiaries provides a particular ingredient. Each of the foreign subsidiaries are providing a particular ingredient used in the group's main processing plant. So don't you think that each of the subsidiary would be making a revenue on earning a revenue for the ingredient they are providing to the main Broadway company as a food processor? In case, since the a particular ingredient to be used in the main processing plant, in case if there is a shortage of any of the ingredient, the whole plant would be disrupted. Now let's read further. The subsidiaries produce raw ingredients including corn, wheat, vegetables, and nuts. Okay. If Welford and Company decides to accept the appointment, it will provide the audit for the group consolidated financial statements. Right? Welford and Company has to provide the audit for the group consolidated financial statements and for the individual financial statements of some of the subsidiaries. Not all of the subsidiaries, not 14 subsidiaries, some of the subsidiaries which we are not stating how many. The group audit committee has suggested that to keep the audit fee as low as possible. Audit fee as low as possible for a group having foreign subsidiaries. You are right. You are thinking the right way. It's going to create an implementation threat to the group, to the auditor. Welford and Company could audit the companies based in this country, but the foreign subsidiaries would be audited by local firms. Read again. Welford and Company could audit the companies based in this country, but the foreign subsidiaries would be audited by the local firm. This means that Welford and Company is not supposed to audit the foreign subsidiaries. It's only going to audit the subsidiaries in the same country. So out of 14, 10 are foreign subsidiaries, only 4 are the local subsidiaries. These foreign subsidiaries contribute to 60% of the group total profit. 60% of the group total profit. So the foreign subsidiaries contribute a major part of the total assets of the group. The group has recently become involved with a business in Farland, a remote country which produces tropical fruit. So there's a tropical fruit being produced by a business in Farland, which the group has recently been involved in. Business is not incorporated as a company. Okay, this business is not incorporated as a company, and local regulations in Farland only require financial statements to be prepared or an audit to be performed for companies. So you understand this point. See, the group has recently become involved with a business in Farland, a remote country, right? Which produces tropical fruit. This fruit is being used by the group. The business is not incorporated as a company, right? This business is not incorporated as a company. It's working, I don't know how. And local regulations in Farland only require financial statements to be prepared or an audit to be performed for companies. So this means that this business does not have any financial statements being prepared or any audit work going on because it is not formed as a company. It is not incorporated as a company in Farland. Okay, let's move on. From an internet search regarding the group, you have also obtained the following information. Local protesters. One subsidiary farm company has been accused of environmental damage due to its operations impacting on the rainforest and causing harm to wildlife. So one of the subsidiary farm company has been accused of environmental damage due to operations impacting on the rainforest and causing harm to wildlife. There have been some protests by concerned citizens in the country where farm company is located. Digital recordings of these protests have spread worldwide on social media. Now, it's not confirmed that they are actually, doing this environmental damage or not because they are accused of. It's not, there is no evidence that they are actually doing this thing or not. They are causing the environmental damage or not, but their reputation has been affected. Digital recordings of these protests have spread worldwide on social media. Okay, now let's see. Expansion of operations. The group has recently expanded its operations in a certain country by acquiring a large area of land on which to grow wheat. The group intends to grow wheat, which is it is using as its ingredients, and it has acquired a large area of land in a certain country. The country is unknown over here. To receive government approval for the acquisition, a significant incentive payment was made to a government minister. Right. This means it was kind of a bribe to receive government approval for the acquisition. A significant incentive payment, that is a bribe, was made to government minister. This has been reported widely in the media. So this has also been reported in the media. Right, we have read the question case given to us. Now let's read the requirement again. Once we have read the requirement again already, but now let's read it again. Evaluate the matters which should be considered before Welford and Company accepts the audit of the Broadway Group. 10 marks. Right. So we don't have to write straight away write generic answer, but we have to use this case and we have to pick up these points and draft our answer. And drafting is the key over here. Planning the answer is the key over here. To reach a good answer, you need to plan your answer before you begin writing and read the instructions, read the requirements carefully, pick up points, then you write the answer. This is key tip for you. Now let's begin drafting the answer. First, we will give the introduction, a short line for introduction, introducing what the case is. So let's write. In deciding whether to accept Broadway Group as a audit client, Welford company should consider its competence, because competence is really necessary to perform such a big audit, to perform the group audit, right? The ethical matters, because of the bribe case and the protest case, the ethical matters involved, and the client integrity, main thing, because integrity of client, because of it's a huge group, a big group with so many foreign subsidiaries, with so many foreign auditors, and it's going to be a very difficult process. Plus the client is telling you to charge a low fee, the audit committee of the client is telling you to charge a low fee. For the this means that it's creating an intimidation threat for for Welford and company. Now let's move on. The parent company of the group, Broadway Company, is a listed company, and the group has a total of 14 subsidiaries, 10 of which are foreign subsidiaries, right? 10 foreign subsidiaries. So let's make a point for this one, the initial point. We will begin with the audit of the Broadway Group is a sizable audit. We can say that it's spanning many countries, because it's foreign subsidiaries, and requiring extensive liaison with component auditors, right? Why with the component auditors? Because there are so many foreign subsidiaries, there are foreign auditors. Those subsidiaries are going to be audited by those local firms in those countries, so we have so many component auditors which we need to cope up with. Now we can proceed that we can say that Welford and company will need skilled staff, because of the foreign subsidiaries, the exchange rate movements, the exchange rates to be charged, the movement of the need of understanding the local regulations over there. We will need competent staff and skilled staff. So we can say that Welford company should accept the audit appointment if it has suitably skilled staff available to resource the audit. You're getting my point. We're making short paragraphs, no detailed paragraphs or too big paragraphs. Short to the point paragraphs. Now we can make that this is a food processing industry, right? And food processing with so many particular ingredients coming from many of the foreign subsidiaries. So what we can do is we can make a point: the activities of the group are specialized with its operations, including the production, because the production of various products or various ingredients are being made in by the foreign subsidiaries. So we can say including the activities of the group are specialized with its operations, including the production of agricultural goods and their processing, I hope you're understanding my point. Now, for understanding this agricultural produce and for understanding the production process, you need to have a skilled staff who is able to understand what the process is, how to process and how to treat the foreign productions. So we can say that the audit staff needs to be familiar with this food processing industry, right? Or we can say that or Welford company can consider bringing in the external staff with the necessary skills and experience, because if you don't have the staff in your firm that is internally, then you'll have to bring in staff from outside. Right? Now what we can do is we can explain this further about the experts. Let's say we can say that Welford company could bring in experts to perform this work, but this would have increased cost implications, because external employees or external team would charge us for their expertise, and those will have cost implications for the audit firm. That is, the cost for audit firm would increase, and we are already told that the audit committee of Broadway has requested us to keep the audit fee as low as possible. So cost implications, and we can further connect it with the case of low fee, and there appears to be a fee pressure on the audit firm, right? We have connected this point along with this one. Further, we can say that we elaborate actually. The group audit committee wants the audit fee to be as low as possible. Uh, the group audit committee wants the audit fee to be as low as possible, which indicates that there is a pressure to use smaller audit team, right? This is giving us pressure to use smaller audit team for the audit, for the group audit having so many subsidiaries. And we can mention it's going to be an intimidation threat. This could be perceived as an intimidation threat to the auditor objectivity, because low fees will obviously impair our objectivity as an auditor. You're getting my point. Now, don't you think that the firms, the subsidiaries, foreign subsidiaries would be having some other standards or some other accounting techniques than the Broadway group itself? Because all the countries have their own accounting standards or own accounting techniques or processes or procedures being followed. So the foreign subsidiaries may all not have the same kind of accounting treatments. Yes, you are right. So we can draft a point for this one also. The financial reporting standards applied by the foreign subsidiaries may not be the same as that of the group, right? We are linking it with the case. Anyhow, we have to link it. Welford company may have no experience, because we are not sure we will be having such experience of those standards or not working in our country. May not have experience in reconciling the financial statements of the subsidiaries prepared under their local accounting rules to that of the group. Right. This could create a lack of competence and a barrier to accepting the client, right? See how we are drafting. Look at how we are drafting points. Now let's see. Let's scroll down. The local protesters. One subsidiary palm company has been accused of environmental damage due to its operations impacting on the rainforest and causing harm to wildlife. There have been some protests by concerned citizens in the country where palm company is located. Digital recordings of these protests have spread worldwide on social media. So we need to draft a point that this could impact the the Welford company's reputation as an auditor if we are undertaking this audit. So we need to draft a point for this one also. Sorry. The environmental damage allegedly, because it's not yet sure or confirmed that it has been caused by palm company, but it's being accused of doing such damage. Allegedly caused by palm company could cause Welford company to question the business ethics of the group, right? Business ethics of the group, because they are not being ethical. Though it is not, we will also mention that it is not yet confirmed certain that the accusations are based in fact, right? The audit firm Welford company may not wish to be associated with a client with a poor reputation, as it may affect the firm's reputation in the public, right? Now let's make another point. Over here, expansion of operations. The group has recently expanded its operations in a certain country by acquiring a large area of land to which to grow wheat. To receive government approval for the acquisition, a significant incentive payment was made to a government minister. This has been reported widely in the media. Yes, we need to consider this point as well. We need to draft our answer accordingly. So let's draft a point for this one. The incentive payment could be a bribe paid to ensure the land acquisition, right? The land acquisition could go ahead. Yes, you're right. Now, as this situation, we can say that this is has been reported by the media as the situation are based in fact, because this is known, this is confirmed, and this is known, are based on facts, actually not in on fact. The audit firm Welford company the audit from Welford company should consider we would say acquisition could go ahead as the situation. We can say no, let's make some changes. Could go ahead as the situation has been made public by the media. The audit from Welford company may consider the group's ethics are in doubt, right? Do you see how we are drafting the points? It's easy and so simple. But yes, we need to be careful. We need to be skeptical during the audit. We need to be skeptical during the audit exam, because this skepticism is going to fetch us points and is going to become the reason for our passing the exam. This is how we will turn our failure into success. Now, since this is a audit of a group involving subsidiaries, the group and the subsidiaries are being audited by another auditor or by the local auditor firms. So the group should also consider whether all the information would be available easily to the group from those subsidiary auditors, and they will be able to communicate with them or not, right? Because we are considering the matters which need to be considered before the acceptance of the audit. This needs to be considered before the audit, right? So we can make a point for this one also. Welford company should evaluate whether the group engagement team will be able to be involved in the work of the component auditors to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, right? Because we cannot base our judgments until and unless we have got sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Now let's make another point. Welford company, we can make this point as well, should find out more information relating to the component auditors. Our firm should know who the component auditors are and whether we are restricted or not, whether there is any restriction imposed on communicating with them to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, right? And in this case, as they are being the subsidiaries are being audited by the local firms, we can make a point that we should evaluate whether the component auditors are what to say component auditors are competent enough or not, like we can rely on their work or not. So we can make a point for this also, that Welford company should evaluate the competence of the component auditors as it impacts the quality of the audit work performed, on which to place reliance, or on which to base the reliance at the right, on which to place the reliance would be, I think, better, on which to place the reliance by the group auditors, right? And what else? Since it's a big group, we need to find out what the group structure is, how it's being regulated, the group is being regulated, how the subsidiaries are being regulated, how complex it is to consolidate, and what environmental factors are in the pestle, what pestle factors are to be need to be considered, the political, the environmental, the social, the technological, and so forth. So we can draft a point related to this one, that Welford company should obtain an understanding of the group structure, the components, and their business activities, to get a better understanding of the business or of the group, right? And we can say that and their business activities, including the regulatory framework, including the regulations, the political, environmental, social, technological factors affecting the group, right? These need to be considered for the consolidation process, right? Now what is this, like, why are we doing this? Welfare company should obtain an understanding of the group structure, the component and the business activities, including the regulations, the political, the environmental, social, technological factors affecting the group. These need to be considered for the consolidation process, or we can say for the complexity, right? For the complexity of the consolidation process, right? And further, we can say that this helps assess the potential audit risk, because we need to consider the audit risk before we undertake the engagement, and the skills and competencies, required by the firm. Right. Now one more, let's move on. Now we have been given a point for this far land, here, a remote country which produces tropical fruit. We haven't yet considered this point yet. So we can say that the new business in far land seems unusual, as the business is not incorporated and does not prepare accounts. Right, it does not prepare accounts, as we mentioned while we were reading the case. So this means that the group audit team would have to audit this business, right? Business traveling to a remote location and having cost implications, right? Reduced costs, right? So we made a point for this one as well. Now further, what we can do? Welford company should consider whether it will have access to, this is a general point I am making, to the group management component, or we can say subsidiaries, to make it easy for you. Management their auditors and will be able to work on the financial statements of the companies as a whole, right? Because this is another point which is a generic point, but it needs to be considered before accepting the audit. Then we can make another general point, like since there are so many foreign subsidiaries involved in this case, we can make one more generic point that this would involve a lot of traveling by the group audit team, because they need to check the documentation of the auditors, the audit working papers of the components, and they need to evaluate whether they are in line with those required by the group auditors or not, and they will have to do some sampling on the work of the component auditor. So we can say that members of the group audit team must be willing to travel to two subsidiaries locations to conduct at least some of the work to and review the working papers to satisfy themselves of the quality of the work performed, and to include that work in the group financial statements. You're looking at how we are trying to make points, and we are making generic points right now, but we are trying to make some points. And additionally, one more thing, see, there are foreign subsidies, foreign languages involved with the foreign subsidies. So one generic point could be that the group should also consider, the group auditors auditor actually should also consider the language barrier. It's a barrier, right? The language barrier before accepting the audit engagement. We can say that before accepting the audit engagement, depending on the languages used in the other locations, right? See how we have drafted so many points. The question was for 10 marks, and see, we have drafted so many points, more than 10 marks. Few generic answers, few to the point specific answers to the case, but most of them are specific to the case. Only these are generic. The remaining are all specific to the case specific. You need to be case specific while you are drafting your answers, while you are attempting the questions. You need to be case specific. You don't need to be too generic. When it's a case specific answer, you need to be case specific. Don't go generic. And you should remember that you should always have a look at the clock during the exam. You should always monitor your time effectively. Right now, this is what I am telling you, or this is what I am trying to help you out with solving this question. That's why it's taking a bit more time, but once you are prepared, it's easy. Once you are prepared, time is not a barrier. Time constraint is not a limitation for you. You should be able to draft points easily and in speed in the exam, in the actual exam. I would always suggest you go for a mock before the exam, so that you are in practice of the exam situation rather than actually sitting in the exam and practicing the exam over there in actual exam. And the last but not the least, keep practicing questions. Keep practicing questions to brainstorm yourself, to open your eyes, and to be prepared, be well prepared for the exam before the actual exam comes in. Okay, all the best, good luck. Towards the end of this video, you need to remember greatness doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of continuous effort, boundless curiosity, and a thirst for improvement. Investing time in these videos and engaging with past AAA exam questions is an investment in the brighter future you're shaping up. Keep your focus sharp, your learning continuous, and your eyes focused on your goals. Best of luck as you navigate your studies. May your dedication lead you to success in the AAA exam.